Hi everybody, Eve Everett here, and today we're going to talk about what's sold on eBay. Be on the lookout handbags, including the obvious ones like Fendi, Prada, Gucci, Coach, and I'm also going to throw on some easy to find labels that you can typically find at the bins or Goodwill or just about any other thrift shop you may visit. But first, a few minor points of interest. Can somebody explain to me why the heck someone's willing to pay $499.99 for a vintage box of Pampers diapers? I realize it's in the original box, but really? Now, just in case you think this is a fluke, go and look up vintage Pampers on Terapeak, or you can do a ended auction search on eBay under solds, and you'll see people get an amazing amount of money for old diapers. Even character diapers from the mid 90s, early 90s. I think Barney and there's a few others that for some reason can command quite a price. So if you're out and about and you happen to see these, check them out, because you just never know. I mean, don't spend a ton of time on it, but heck, I mean, come on, $499, and this isn't the only one that I've seen go this high. Anyway, if you have like a whole room of these, just let me know, and I'll sell them for you. First item we have up is this Ralph Lauren plaid purse. I sold this for $26.50, and it took me a little under 3 months to sell it. And if you'll keep an eye out, these are actually easier to find at the bins than you would think. I've found Ralph Lauren wallets that were in pretty shoddy shape that I was able to sell somewhere between $10 and $25, depending on whether it was like their standard Ralph Lauren label or their polo label. It just depends on what it is, what line it is with Ralph Lauren. Will tell you how good you're going to do with it. But these are fairly reliable sellers. This is a Paul and Joe limited edition handbag that they did for Target, and I sold this one for $28, and I got this at the end of April. It did take me a couple months to move. This one's more geared towards the younger crowd. It's an Invader Zim cupcake handbag. It's got basically a print of cupcakes and Invader Zim characters, along with a key fob with more Invader Zim characters. And this is one of the lower priced ones that I sold. It did sell for $20 and shipped over to the UK, and it took me about 2.5 months to sell. This is a hemp messenger bag made by a company called OTE, and in general I do pretty well with hemp accessories, whether it's wallets, handbags, backpacks. This particular bag I got at the bins. I sold it for $35, and it sold on the same day that I listed it. This is a little bit off the beaten path. This is a Unicorn Military Flyers helmet bag. And what I did was I put the number of the item in the header, and I sold this for $29 in about a month and 2 weeks. This is a vintage Hmong Southeast Asian handmade bag. It's got some staining on the side. The middle, basically the whole thing is pieced together, hand sewn. I actually bought a lot at a specialty textile auction, and I had this one and 7 others. I chopped apart the best bag because I wanted the print on the sides there. They had some really nice ink blot iCat work, and part of that I sold to Urban Outfitters, and I sold another part of the print to what company was it? I think it was Woolrich. In any event, that's something I do on the side. I'll talk about it a little bit later, maybe in another video. Basically what I do is I take copyright free bags, whether they predate copyright or other reasons why they might not fall under copyright. I'll take the print, I'll take them over to various companies, and they look at the pieces for inspiration and come up with their own designs. And what's really neat about that, I'm sorry, I'm digressing. I do this way too much, guys. What's really neat is when you get to see the finished product. I just recently saw a shirt done by a company that I sold them the print that inspired them to make this particular shirt, and I could see the original in the work that they did, and it was just really cool. So anyway, I'll talk about that another time. It is interesting. It's a real pain in the butt, but it's interesting work. Anyway, this is a mid-century Southeast Asian handbag, and I sold this because of the staining on it. I sold this for $25, shipped to Georgia, and this took me about 6 months to sell. This is a Gucci monogrammed glasses case holder. It's a hard case. I sold this for $34.99, and it took me about 3.5 months to move it. This is a Gucci blue leather logo satchel, and it did have quite a bit of damage to it, simply because it's just been beaten up over the years. Also, vintage Gucci just doesn't seem to do as well as other items from Gucci do, but they still do pretty well, especially those iconic 80s fabric bags. They're beige, and then they have that green and red stripe. In any event, I sold this one, even though it was pretty damaged, for $44.99. If you'll take a look at QVC, you'll see that quite a few of their handbags are good bread and butter items that will sell consistently. This is a Stone Mountain leather buckle bag, and I sold this for $24, and it took me about 4 months to sell it, shipped to Georgia. This is a Lucky brand brown suede shoulder hobo bag, and it's got those suede tassels hanging off it. When I got this, it smelled a bit like cigarette smoke, so that kind of sucked. But I did put it outside, I aired it out, and I waited and waited and waited and tried until finally I somehow was able to get like 99% of the smell out of it. I did disclose in the listing that it had a very light cigarette smell, which I'm airing out, and that's what I typically put. And I sold this for $69.99. I listed it early last fall, and it took me under a month to sell it for $69.99, shipped to Georgia. This is an Urban Outfitters brand. Well, it primarily sells at Urban Outfitters. Ecote, E-C-O-T-E. It's a vegan bag, and I sold this for $28.50, and it sold in about 2 months. This is a cat tapestry handbag, loaded with a variety of different cats. I also put some cat stationery in it and kind of sold it as a crazy Catwoman lot, so to speak. And I sold it for $23.50, and it shipped to Colorado. It took me about 8 months to sell. But if I do see handbags like this, I'll pick them up from time to time if they're cute or very interesting, because people who are into certain topics, like let's say it's wine or golf or something like that, they do look for these items. So I like to have them on hand for people that collect those sorts of things. So this is, again, a cat tapestry bag. Sold this for $23.50. This is a Relic handbag, and Relic and Fossil are owned by the same company. You can find them from time to time at the bins. I sold this one for $22.50. This is another QVC label called oh gosh, how do you say it? Tignanello, Tignanello. And this is a brand I see from time to time, and it can sit for a while depending on what it is, but they do nicely. This particular bag I sold for $24, and it took me about 2.5 months to sell it. And that is the inside of the bag. You can just organize the daylights out of yourself. This person just got so organized that they left the tag in and never used it. Sounds like something I would buy to organize. I would buy it and either lose it or never use it. Yep, that sounds like me. This is one of those iconic Fendi logo bags. I picked it up at the bins because it's a cool bag. Everybody loves that Fendi logo and look. The problem with it was that it was just trashed. So I was kind of selling it for parts. It was authentic. It was very worn. Some of the gold tone had worn. There were tears in the lining, but not the actual bag itself. Didn't have its strap. Still, I was able to get a deal with somebody for $27.50, and it took me 7 days to sell that one. So even if it's really horribly damaged, if it's one of those big brands, you can try to, sell the whole bag and don't come out and say, yeah, I'm selling it for parts, because someone might think you're encouraging some sort of shenanigans. But at the same time, put the item up, and you'll get somebody who will get your drift, and you should be able to move it fairly quickly. The last two here are on my Simply Vintage account, which is the account that I use publicly for YouTube, so you can follow along and see what I'm selling. And this is a Robert Chade, C-H-E-A-D, vintage bag. It's a messenger bag, and it says there I sold it for $122, but I actually went back and forth with a nice guy and sold it for 99 bucks. Oh, and that took me about 2 months to move. So you can tell Nicole State that this one is completely her fault, and I mean that in all sincerity. The reason being is I was watching one of her videos, and she was talking about going to the Goodwill at various times a day, and maybe it's just me, but sometimes when I watch other people's videos, I'm like, oh, I gotta get out. I get like cabin fever. I gotta get out right now and just do some thrifting. I'll just run out for a little while. So in this particular case, I went out on my lunch break, drove about, there's a Goodwill maybe 15 minutes away from my house. So I drove over and I picked up a UGG leather handbag. I picked up a Sony 5CD disc changer that I have to list, and I picked up a pair of Nikes, and I'm still researching, and I picked up this, but this was a 3-touch rule bag. I picked it up, put it back down, and did that twice, and then I caught myself. I'm like, all right, my rule is if I pick it up 3 times, I'm going to research it quickly and either put it back or keep it, obviously, but I'm going to at least take time to do some research on it, because I keep seeming to touch it and not be able to walk away from it. And whenever I have done that, and then it's always I regret it. So I put this in my cart, and it had been hanging, I would say, at least for the day. I mean, it was hanging up with a bunch of other bags. As you can see in the other pictures, I guess you can kind of see them. The first issue is the bag's a bit distressed. It's actually a really, really dark green. It's such a dark green that it actually looks black, but it's not. I don't get a lot of Prada. I do know how to identify it fairly well, so I took about 10 or 15 minutes, did some research. This is a deerskin leather bag. It's rather large, and it's just one of those slouchy bags, type bags that you see celebrities walk around in. I had some authentication concerns. I really wasn't sure about the Prada logo, but I did find other things that were consistent with it being real Prada, like the lining was dead on. There is the little tab with the licensing, and then there was another small number tab that's very difficult to find that was also in the bag. So, I gave it some thought. I hemmed and hawed a little bit, and I'm like, I think this is real. So I brought it home. I posted it the next day, and on the same day it sold for $169.99. So yay! Thanks, Nicole, and thank all of you for checking this out. I hope you find a great cool thing like this one was for me. And if you can, subscribe, spread the word, have them subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and all that other happy stuff. Otherwise, I'll see you out there, and good hunting.